Alright, welcome to episode 5 of Wrestling with Anime. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And I'm here too, I'm Justin.
Very good. So David had me watch 3 episodes of RWBY, which is not spelled correctly, but...
There's a reason.
I know, but it's still not spelled correctly. So that was episode 6, 7, and 8, and I had David watch a couple of matches.
Yes.
So, what do we want to talk about first?
Well, let's get started with the RWBY first.
Okay, I'm going to try to recap what happened.
Okay.
So you watched episode 6, 7, and 8, supposedly?
Yes.
Of the first season.
Yes. Okay, so, I don't know any of their names.
Nah, that's
okay,
alright.
well, the main character's name is RWBY.
Well, okay, I know that one.
Okay.
You can go by colors. Colors will be easy enough.
I don't even necessarily remember that.
No.
Anyway, so it starts off, they're in this forest, and one dude fights a giant snake.
Yes.
Which I was not a fan of.
Nah, but it is only kind of secondary to the actual discussion that's being had by the other two characters.
Yeah, and then... Oh, fuck, what else happens in there? So, dude fights a giant snake.
Yes.
And then somebody else kills another monster.
Yes.
And there's something about a professor that's watching them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all I remember from the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, with that one. It's mostly kind of a case of the characters getting used to the character dynamics, mostly with RWBY being teamed up with Weiss, so with their first interaction, it didn't exactly go so well. So it's kind of rich girl seeing poor girl doing particular stuff. RWBY knows that she can do stuff and wants to prove herself, but they're still conflicting of things.
So, my biggest problem with the first 2 episodes especially is... because they're split off into like 4 different groups,
yes,
nobody gets any time. Because the episodes are like, the first episode that I watched was like 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah,
it's
they're
really
really
short.
short.
Yeah, they're really short in the first couple seasons.
No.
Like, except for like probably pilot or season finale, they go a bit longer sometimes.
So because they only have like 8 minutes, you don't get enough time to spend with anybody to really to really develop a story.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, eh. And like the second episode was like 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for the most part, it's kind of a web series for the most part, but yeah that's kind of how it's made.
No, I understand that it's a web series, but, and like, so, I have issues with the animation.
Okay.
Yeah, at the time.
It's pretty choppy for the first season or so.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
Nah.
However, if this were on Cartoon Network, I would, like, tear it to shreds. Because it would be completely unacceptable.
No, that's definitely understandable.
Considering it's a web series, though, I can let it go.
No.
Because they're not working with the same level of budget as Cartoon Network.
Yeah, this was mostly the work of one guy, mostly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if this was on Cartoon Network, I would be tearing it to shreds. But, considering it's a web series, I'll let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get to episode 8.
Yes.
And they all get to this place, and I don't know, maybe this happened in another episode, and they all get like a chess piece.
Yep.
And then they go to this big tower thingy, mabobber doohickey, whatchamacallit, and there's this big like bird thing that fires down arrows trying to kill them, which is awesome. I love that design. And then there's some also like scorpion monster that's trying to kill them. Is pretty good. And then, yeah, basically the team starts to come together, and then they all get assembled into like their 2 separate teams, and that's what happens.
Well, aside from all the action and amazingness that happens with all the stuff, yeah, that's essentially what happens.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious. At the particular point when they started fighting the giant bird and the scorpion around in that arena, give me your thought process. How did everything sort of work for the battle that ran through?
I liked it well enough. Like, all 3 episodes, like, I liked them well enough, and one of its benefits is that it's not too long. It doesn't overstay its welcome. While that leads to issues with the storytelling, I don't mind them being shorter episodes. The animation quality is a little... It's not great sometimes, but it's a web series again, so it is what it is. I really like the soundtrack.
Soundtrack is definitely very good.
That is probably the best part of the series.
Just about. When it comes a bit more in my thoughts, I'll elaborate a bit more on that. But on the whole, I agree with you that the soundtrack for RWBY definitely matches nice.
I really love the soundtrack. I'm not, like, the voice acting, it's fine. The animation is fine for a web series. And from what I've seen of the story, like, it's nothing revolutionary, but it's fine.
No.
So, like, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And if I started from episode 1, I might have liked it more, because I would have known who the fuck anybody was.
Well, the one particular thing about this series was before the entire series started, they started with showing off the 4 main characters of the story in trailers. So if you're curious to look it up yourself, it's the RWBY red, white, black, and yellow trailers, which show off the 3 sort of main characters of the group. And then after that, it started with the first episode of the season and goes from there.
Okay.
So, this, honestly, with me watching RWBY series from the start, this episode was one of the defining moments of everything that was amazing about this series. Mostly because of its one specifically creator of Monty Ohm, which this wasn't his first work. One of his older works was using Final Fantasy and another fighting series to show off his animation style.
He did,
I believe it was Dead Fantasy was one of the main ones on YouTube that's sort of well known from Monty Ohm.
He also did Haloid.
Yes, that as well. But one of his talents is matching the actions of what's happening on screen to all the other aesthetics that are happening. The battlefield that they're fighting in, the music that plays along with what's happening. And just seeing that episode for the first time, I can't remember my reaction, but it was so strong that I can't rip this from one of my favorite episodes of the series. So, on the whole, I have to agree with you. For, at the time when it came out, the money that they were working with, and the staff that they had on hand to work with all this stuff, it is a web series, so they had to only work within certain bits and whatnot. If you take a look at season 2 and onward, they've definitely updated everything from how it was in the episodes.
Yeah, and there's even like 20-minute episodes like here and there too. Like when the most recent season has like 20-minute episodes, almost each episode.
Alrighty, do you have any other thoughts on RWBY, Justin?
Yeah, I actually do enjoy this series. I didn't really get into it at first. Going into it, I didn't care much for the art style, but it kind of grew on me after getting through the first season and onwards. It does end up looking a bit better after it looks a bit cleaner in more recent seasons.
Okay.
As it stands with me where RWBY is sitting right now, it's hitting kind of a bit of a divide. Because when it started, it had somewhat of an idea of how to sort of go and get started with things. Of course, with everything that happened with RWBY, with Monty Ohm passing away a couple of years after Season 1 and Season 2 were ongoing, they had to sort of pick up the pieces and go on with the story as they wanted to. So there were going to be changes, and some things in the new series are a little iffy for the most part. But I think the biggest thing is how the story's tone is going. It starts you off with something that is uplifting, amazing, then gut punches you with the dark stuff there and sort of leaves you there for the most part. There are moments of levity to assist with things, but for the most part, things are kind of in a darker place and trying to recover from that point.
Some key characters die.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Without saying who.
So, Justin, would you recommend RWBY?
I would. For anyone who's interested in, like, anime or just in general web animation series, it's something to get into.
You think it's worth starting at Season 1, or would you jump ahead a bit?
Start at season 1. Just get yourself familiar with the characters and like with the essential world of RWBY, and then it basically throws you into other loops later.
Okay. David?
I'm going to have to agree with Justin on almost every point. In my case, when I first heard about this, I adored it for all the particular things that it did. Seeing the very first trailer for RWBY and going from there. Honestly, with how I sort of enjoy sort of things, it's a bit more style over substance. So if you're looking for something amazing or revolutionary with story and all the other particular things they do there, you're probably not going to find this until probably later on.
Probably season 3.
Yeah, about there-ish. But just for all the story stuff and what they do with it, it's definitely a watch for me. But again, hesitant for anybody else whose style is a bit different from mine.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I think if you like this type of, like, monster hunting type of thing, you'll like it. If that's not really your thing, I don't think it's going to change your mind. I think it's perfectly fine. Like, if you like anime and you like that type of, we're going out to kill monsters and that's kind of the deal, you'll probably dig it, but I don't know. I think it's perfectly fine, but I doubt I'll watch much more.
No.
There is an underlying plot line with like some evil guys or some sorts, but that kind of gets thrown in
later on.
Later, they actually start making their moves later.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So David, what match do you want to start with?
I guess the first one that I watched, which was Sarah Banks and...
oh god, you botched the name already. It's Sasha.
God
damn it.
Sorry, I wrote the thing quickly in pencil, and I think I wrote something wrong with that. But yeah, Sasha Banks and Bayley Brookyln.
Yeah, Bayley, and it's from NXT Takeover Brookyln.
Yes.
Yes. So, what did you think of this match?
It was alright for a women's wrestling match. Kind of had the typical things that I've somewhat seen and expected from these sorts of things. Yeah, definitely a decent enough storyline of the innocent supposed girl wants to get into the wrestling and whatnot, and then all the sassy, definitely not the appropriate word, but sassy ladies come in. It's like, you're not going to be the one that is the wrestling champion and whatnot, and beat her at just about every sort of thing coming to it. And then match goes on, fights them and whatnot, does fairly well, and then all hugs and congratulatory things all at the end.
Yeah, this is, so, okay, first thing I'm going to ask you is, do you know what NXT is?
Specific wrestling class for women fighters?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So, NXT is technically WWE's developmental territory. So basically, they sign people where like, that person could be something, you go work in NXT, and then when we think you're ready, we pull you up to the main shows.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, there have been times where they've put people in NXT that don't really need to be there, but that's beside the point. So, in NXT a couple of years ago, they started having this really strong influx of female talent.
Yeah.
They had, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, fantastic roster of women wrestlers.
Dateable.
Then they decided, hey, wait a minute, this is getting over with the NXT crowd. Let's call them all up to the main roster, except Bayley. Because they needed somebody to be like their main draw on NXT.
Yeah.
And they use that really well in the storytelling in this match. Like, I think that's really well done.
No, I can see that.
So, what did you think of Sasha Banks? Because her character is very much love it or hate it.
I think it pretty much worked. I didn't despise it terribly, but yeah, there were kind of... No, I think for the most part I pretty much enjoyed it. It wasn't too bad.
She works so well as a heel. Like, she's so good at being a bitch.
No, that definitely works. Like, the first instance that the particular note isn't from her, it's more from Bayley that does it, but she just stands there taunting her, just telling her she can't do it, and she, I believe, boots her in the face.
Yeah.
I was like, lady, shut it.
One of my favorite moments is in the video package before the match, where they do like the sit-down interviews with both of them. And Sasha has this line where she's got the title and she's like, I'm going to tell every little girl in the audience that fairy tales don't have happy endings.
Oh no, I did.
That's such a good line. I love that. Yeah, I love this match.
I definitely, when I checked through the videos, the promo was the first thing I saw, and then it skipped over into the actual match, and having that build up to it is like, oh, okay, there's the bit of story that I sort of need to sort of get invested in.
Yeah, you kind of need to know a little bit going into this.
Definitely.
So overall, what did you think of?
No, for the most part, everything kind of made sense. I was honestly the littlest bit surprised that after everything was kind of over, after Bayley sort of won, that Sasha sort of got off and hugged her, congratulated her and whatnot. And I was like, okay, wait, she was probably just doing the bitchy stuff to go through all that.
Yeah.
If not, they can do the story that Bayley sort of proved herself to her with all the
Well,
wrestling skills.
no, that's just kayfabe shattering.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're supposed to hate each other. Like, maybe do that when you get off camera. But I like the moment anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty great.
No.
Did you have any other notes on that match you want to talk about?
No, just sort of the switch from the typical wrestle matches that you showed me to a girl sort of fight. And again, just the couple typical things that they did in that sort of fight.
So, yeah, but this is so much better than it was 15 years ago.
No, that definitely makes sense.
Like, 15 years ago, women's wrestling was, like, A, barely promoted, especially by WWE.
Yeah.
And B, when they were given opportunities, it was like, well, we got 2 minutes for a bathroom break, go out there and have a match. Whereas here, they're actually given time to really do something. The only problem is Bayley has a shit finisher.
Yeah.
It looks lame as shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the next match.
So the next one that I checked out was AJ Styles against Okada. Okada, thank you.
Yes, this is from New Japan show. I think it was 2015. It's their Dominion show. What did you think of this?
On the whole, happy that Okada won with all the stuff that sort of happened within the match. But, yeah, there were some particular moments in there. The ref was decent, though.
Red Shoes is great.
The ref was definitely good with the entire match.
Yeah, Red Shoes is pretty great. So, you've watched a couple of Okada matches now.
Yes.
And you seem to really like Okada.
Yeah, Okada on the whole seems to be fairly decent. Nothing super grandstanding, but as a wrestler, he has his moments where he shows off to the crowd and whatnot. I think there's only a moment that I've seen that he sort of moved past that to either he's past his breaking point or he's super pissed, but that's for a later time.
Yeah, Okada, what I love about Okada is a lot of his moves aren't necessarily super flashy, but he doesn't fuck anything up.
No,
or very rarely does he fuck up.
As one of the announcers says, he's very precise.
Yeah.
About what he does.
So, in this match, what did you think of AJ?
He seemed decent enough when he came in with that entire entourage.
The Bullet Club.
I was kind of like, okay, did you have to seriously bring your entire fan club with you?
It's the Bullet Club. So, the Bullet Club was, well, still is, a faction that started in New Japan, and they've gone and they've been in other promotions now. They're also in Ring of Honor and a few other places. Mm-hmm. Basically, the idea behind the Bullet Club was a bunch of these American and Canadian guys went over to Japan and they started just doing the exact opposite of what the Japanese audience would expect. Huh. So the Japanese audience is very much trained to in pro wrestling, there's always a clean finish. Somebody always wins. They don't do shenanigans.
Oh, no.
Which in American wrestling happens all the time.
AJ stuff, shenanigans happened.
Yeah,
my goodness.
And the thing about the Bullet Club was it really started to piss the Japanese fans off before they kind of understood what was going on, because they would just go in and fuck around, and it's great. Like, yeah, because the Japanese mindset is much more of like a sports based presentation, not as much of an entertainment presentation.
So, the one only other little quick thought. I don't know who it was with the camera when the entrances and whatnot were going on, but seriously, someone did not know how to use the zoom function on that bloody camera.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, can someone get the amateur out of here and get the actual cameraman out here?
Yeah, New Japan has some growing pains when it came to their presentation.
So, when I actually got to the match and started with everything, it's definitely nice with the match and whatnot, but just all the ringside hits and whatnot and all the flips that they were doing with that, it's like fairly decent starting off with that sort of stuff. Good luck trying to maintain that energy all the way through.
I mean, so they're both really, like, the appeal of both of those guys isn't that they're big and jacked up. It's that they can go, like, for an hour.
No, from what one of the announcers said in the more English setting was Okada was more of a sprinter before he started wrestling.
Dave, you're on the wrong match.
No, I think I remember him mentioning in one
that's
of the
Cody
other
match.
matches that he was a bit more athletic in that sort of sense. So
yeah, okay, they say that in the Cody match, not the AJ match.
But
the AJ match is only Japanese commentary.
That he has that more athletic sort of build, and now you definitely see that sort of stuff, but all the shenanigans that AJ goes through.
I love
So, the first time that it happened, I didn't see it, but Okada gets knocked out of the ring, and his entire team goes over and beats the living snot out of him.
I love how AJ, too, he's distracting the ref, and he's like, hey, buddy, how's it going?
I didn't notice that the first time. The second time it happened, it was just like, oh, god damn it, ref. Do something about this, and the ref went and did something about it. It's like, oh, thank God.
I love how at one point the ref tells him to suck it.
Yeah.
That's great. There's a crotch drop.
Yes.
Red Shoes is great. So, you'll notice they were having a match for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Yes.
Do you have any idea what IWGP stands for?
No.
Okay. Because I think they say it in the commentary if you're paying attention to the Japanese, but they might... Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. It's International Wrestling Grand Prix. Little trivia note.
No.
So Okada goes over with a Rainmaker.
Yeah.
Because AJ was going to WWE.
Yeah.
And was going to probably... Well, I don't know if he makes more money now, but...
Yeah.
So, would you want to watch more AJ matches?
Yeah. I could probably stand it. He's not terrible in the most sense, but... Yeah. On the whole, he kind of goes ahead with those bloody shenanigans. I probably honestly need to see more of his track record of most things. But, yeah, I could take him or leave him as is.
Okay. You're going to see more AJ matches?
I would not be too surprised knowing you.
Because, pardon the pun, but he's phenomenal. Yeah. You're going to see more AJ matches. And you still like Okada?
No, definitely as it was. Okada is definitely amazing with all the stuff that he does. Also, seeing the Rainmakers come out is definitely always fun to see.
Yeah, and that move gets such a pop from the Japanese audience. It's great. Okay, you had one other match to watch.
Yes.
And technically it was a New Japan match as well.
Technically.
It took place in Long Beach. It was the main event for New Japan in the USA G1 Special Day 1.
Yes.
It is Kazuchika Okada versus the American Nightmare, Cody. Don't call me Rhodes on television.
Yes.
So what did you think of Cody?
He's a dick!
Cody's fantastic.
Fantastic in the sense that he's a dick!
So, this is a question I don't know. Okay. Do you know who Cody Rhodes is related to?
Not specifically, no. Not from the face or any sort of particular thing that was really kind of mentioned.
So, the last name doesn't give you it doesn't tell you who. You're not familiar with Dusty Rhodes, I take it.
No.
Okay.
No, any sort of stuff like that.
The reason Cody has the nickname the American Nightmare is his dad, Dusty Rhodes, was the American Dream.
Ah.
Yes. And Dusty was a big star in the 70s and 80s. Cody doesn't really look a whole lot like him. Dusty was a bigger guy. Cody's much more trim. But yeah. Cody basically, he started in WWE, ended up leaving there, and is now doing the indie thing, going to Japan, Ring of Honor, all these kinds of things. So, what did you think of this match?
Cody was ridiculous.
Cody's hilarious in this match.
Just the stupid fact he's like, okay, hang on a sec. Goes to kiss his wife. It's like, okay, let's go. It's just like, I was with most of the Japanese people, like, get on with it!
No, this actually was in Long Beach.
No, even then, if any of the particular Japanese fans were kind of there, it's like, get the flip on with it!
No, it's great. Cody knows exactly how to press everybody's buttons when he wants to. It's great, yeah. He's a great performer.
Which is definitely kind of the thing that I saw with how the match sort of went on. So, with all the shenanigans and whatnot, Cody, out of most everyone that Okada sort of wrestled, has kind of put him past the point of, okay, I'm sick of this shit, you're going down.
Yeah, I really actually like the pairing of the two. Because Okada, especially for like a Western audience, doesn't really have...
that flair?
Yeah. I mean, he does, but he doesn't.
It's aerobics and whatnot, or acrobatics and whatnot that he can do is amazing, but his actual flair and showmanship and whatnot is a little lacking for the American audience.
Yeah, and Cody's really good at that. He might not... He's not as good of a wrestler in ring as Okada.
That I could definitely see.
But he knows how to play to a crowd really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like this match.
I'm not even sure the case was actually true, but he had his hand and shoulder bandaged from previous injuries.
Yes.
And definitely played up, oh god, this hurts, but I'm still going to beat the snot out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, Cody's pretty great. So you noticed that they promoted this as a champion versus champion match.
Yes.
Okada coming in as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Do you know what belt Cody had?
He did have a belt, but I did not pay attention to what the belt was.
Okay, that is the ROH World Championship. Ring of Honor. It's I can't really call it an indie promotion because it's owned by a large media group, but it's a smaller company that primarily runs in the States. And they have a working agreement with New Japan where they trade talent back and forth and do all of that. So, do you have any thoughts that you wanted to add on this match? Because I've got a few things, but...
No, on the whole, when his partners and whatnot sort of came out with his crew ready to sort of throw in the towel for him.
Kenny Omega is great.
And then him kind of spitting on that sort of fact. It's like, ooh, there's going to be some drama that's going to be going on with them after this is over.
Yeah, no, Kenny Omega comes down with the towel because he's going to throw it in to protect Cody. And, yeah, that's pretty great. Oh, okay. So you'll notice in this match, Okada hits the Rainmaker a couple of times. I want to say 3 or 4.
Go around there.
You'll notice how Cody never hits his finish. So, I don't think they've ever picked up on that yet, but I really wish they would. Because I'd love to watch another match between these two. Although, granted, I don't watch New Japan every week, so...
Yeah.
So, overall, what did you think of Cody?
Yeah. Not exactly too much of a fan of the particular antics he decides to take. He's decent enough, but in comparison to AJ, yeah, I prefer AJ over Cody any day.
Okay. You'll probably end up watching more Cody matches in the future.
You just adore torturing me, don't you?
No, see, while Cody is not the best in-ring wrestler, he's finally being used more towards his full potential after getting away from WWE. Because he's not the best in-ring, but he's very good at performing. And there's a couple of segments from when he was in WWE that I want you to watch. Because it really illustrates how good of a performer he is. Because he was doing this whole... he started off with this gimmick where he was dashing Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
And then he ends up getting kneed in the face, and he starts thinking he's hideous.
Okay.
And he gets this, like, clear plastic mask that he wears, and he cuts these promos, and he makes the audience in the front row put bags over their heads.
Okay.
And it's great.
Duly noted. Was that around the time that he started switching more over to the Nightmare, or...?
No, the Nightmare thing came after he left WWE.
Okay.
That was... Yeah. That was after he left WWE, and he started doing the...
I can sort of see that a bit more.
Yeah. Oh. He's also got the Dream tattoo on his chest, which is... Because his dad was the American Dream. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that match. It doesn't seem like you are, but that's cool. So did you have any last-minute thoughts on any of the matches you watched?
No, just happy to see the Rainmaker come flying out on those couple of matches.
That move is so over with you for some reason. And it's, like, so basic, too. It's not even, like, super flashy.
I think when it comes to any sort of particular thing, within my own sort of head or plan for the future is to make sort of animated fights in certain cases. That sort of move is going to be something that I'll enjoy using.
It's like AJ's doing like 450 springboards and you're like, the Rainmaker's cool.
Those couple of feats are definitely good, but it's kind of also an additional case of, did you manage that right or are you actually hurt?
Well, I think that's going to be it for this time. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And Justin, even though I didn't talk through the entire wrestling part, that's fine.
Yeah, well, do you have any thoughts on the wrestling David watched?
No.
Well, you should. You suck.
Maybe next time.
Well, yeah, next time you're going to have to watch the wrestling.